Hey guys, how's it going? This is James Anderson here, JDE Solutions. I am JD Anderson, all those things there. And I'm sitting here with the man himself, Mr. June Collier. Bumped into this guy down here. It's my first time meeting him in person. We're down at the Millionaire Builder Summit down in Atlanta, Georgia, for my econ system, my econ business. I'm just super excited. I can't even get my words together, but I wanted to make sure I talk to this guy now. He is a 10-year-old veteran in network marketing. He's built business and he has amazing training online. If you guys haven't seen it, what's your website, June?
JuneCollier.com.
JuneCollier.com. He has things about how to use your cash flow management system, how to build a business, how to prospect. He has all those tools out there. And I'm telling you guys, it is great. So he decided to just bless little old me with a couple minutes of his time here. He is rocking and rolling in the business. He's popping ranks all over the place, and he's looking to max out the comp plan. But I will say this, June, Millionaire Builder Summit, what's the biggest thing you got out of it today? What was the one thing you got out of it that you would say is just like mind-blowing?
You know, I think the biggest thing, the first night was the night where we talked about investments.
Okay.
And we talked about the different types of investments, you know, cash equivalent, stocks. And I think the biggest takeaway that I got from it was that 80% of Americans are investing in cash equivalents. Mm-hmm. And they're not even thinking about the other sides of the business and really understanding what retail banking is doing versus people being able to get wholesale returns on their investments.
Okay.
And so, you know, me being a marketer, an internet marketer, Friday night when we went through all of the different explanations of the different types of investments, mm-hmm. I was just sitting there thinking content.
Okay.
So I was like, man, I've got a whole year's worth of content just on Friday night.
Okay.
And so when I get back to my office, now it's time for me to start implementing small training on what I learned on Friday night. And I think it was just amazing, just some of the information that we shared.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely key, man. I mean, I was blown away, dude. I mean, we had, what, a 9-hour class on investing? And I tell you, dude, and, you know, I love putting the information out there. I'm going to do some things with the team and teach them, but there's a lot of things that I didn't know. You know, I thought I was pretty savvy because I have my mutual fund set up. You know, I got some of my general investments accounts. I've been working with things as far as real assets. I thought I had all that together, but then I was like, whoa, like, I even got some tweaks that can probably save me $200,000, $300,000 over a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Of it. And I was just like, geez, like looking at that whole the cash equivalents and then looking at the whole price expense ratios and things like that. It was like you might get 12, 13, 14%, but if you're getting charged 3% on the back end and you got 2-3% for investing, you know, you're only getting maybe 6-7%. Then you got to throw in taxes. That takes another 1.5%. And I was like, whoa, like, okay, maybe some of the investments I have are great, and some of them might be really big and getting really crazy returns. But between taxes, inflation, fees, any type of penalties as far as and everything within that encompasses, it can knock down what that number is. So learning how to read it was definitely a key for me, man. And I think overall is great. What do you do? What are some of the aspects you're going to do with your team to teach them about, our last strategy, asset accumulation?
I think some of the biggest things is just really giving them the fundamental understanding of the different types of investment vehicles that are out there.
Okay.
Even from a standpoint of just listening and talking about taking your money out of a savings account that's your emergency fund that's giving you barely any interest whatsoever, and then placing that emergency fund money into a mutual fund that is or a bond, a municipal bond. That's what it was.
Yeah, the municipal.
Put your emergency fund into a municipal bond. That in itself was like a big eye opener. And I think a lot of people need to understand the different classifications of where they have their money in their 401k.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I know, like, for me, and I've been in companies where you get a 401k, but you don't understand where to put your money. Mm-hmm. And so you just select stuff. You don't know the difference between a growth fund, a value fund, an income fund. I didn't know any of that. Mm-hmm. And yesterday, in 5 minutes, I now get the understanding of what types of funds it should be placed in.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I think the other thing is from from a building the business and a recruiting standpoint is that you have to help people. You have to care about that person enough to help them out. And so with the team, I want to train them so that they can go back into their corporate offices, they can go back and work with their coworkers. And instead of saying, hey, I need you to look at my opportunity, I need you to join this business, you start that conversation by saying, where do you have your allocations for your investment? Are you in value funds? I just learned some stuff. Let me share some things that I learned. And so now, instead of me approaching you about a business, now we're looking at your 401k because I know you're just like I am.
Yeah.
You're investing in stuff that you have no idea what
you're just chomping away.
You're just putting some money away. Yeah. And now I can educate you on what I learned. Now that's going to pique your interest.
Yeah.
Where did you learn that from? Or how much more do you have available for me to learn because you really understand this thing?
Yeah.
Become the expert on your job.
Awesome. I think that's phenomenal, and that's the mind blowing thing, is because it's a different conversation, and jumping in. I'm glad you said into the business because I'm going to the business next.
Right.
The big thing about business is that I looked at my econ in itself, and so many people got checks. A lot of people got $1,000 checks, $2,000 checks, $3,000 checks, $4,000 checks, and like I was super excited because a lot of people that came all the way down from Detroit, a lot of us got checks, and but it's not like out here just hammer, recruit. It's a different conversation, and when you bring it to that standpoint of trying to just provide value and really helping people, it brings a bit more authenticity to it, if you like, and it makes me feel good because I honestly can just go out and physically help people, and I think that's one of the key things that is missing in a lot of network marketing, and I think that's why we have so much success. A lot of people have not heard of our company.
Right.
But they don't know we got 300,000, well, 250, 300,000. I don't know what the number is after this last recruiting phase, but I know for a fact my associate number is in the 200,000.
Right.
And nobody has even heard of us, but we have so much success within there. It's like, well, geez, what conference can you go to and a whole wing of the room to get a check, and get walked across the stage. I think it's phenomenal. So when you think about the different compensations. Say, for instance, if you were out, what would you give to people, say they're new recruits, they're coming into business, and they might not be so savvy in investments, but they want to just kind of pique somebody's interest and get them going. What would you tell? Like, I'm a new recruit, I just came working with you. What would you tell me to be some of my first little buzzwords I can throw out there to kind of get somebody going?
We talked about buzzwords. We talked about buzzwords like income shifting, shifting your income. Have you heard of income shifting? We've talked about things like, would you like to get back more money in your paycheck without asking your boss for a raise? That in itself probably is going to pique most people's interest to say, what are you talking about? Would you like to get back more money from the government? And so a lot of the things that I use with new people that's coming into the business is you ask a question like that. Have you heard of income shifting? Are you interested in getting more money back in your paycheck without asking your boss for a raise? And if that's the case, if they say yes, then as a new business owner, all I want you to do is send them to a sizzle call.
Okay.
To pique their interest.
Okay.
Because see, you don't need to start talking about all these fancy investments and how to do this because you're new in the business. Let the call do the piquing for you. It's about 4 minutes in length. And then if they listen to that call is generic enough that it gives you enough information to say, there's some information out here that I don't have access to, but I'm not quite sure what else there is. And when that person comes back to you to say, okay, what is this all about? That moves that person to what I call second base.
Okay.
We play baseball. We're on first base with the peak call. Second base is now I'm going to send you a video. I'm going to send you something that gives you a little bit more meat and a little bit more understanding of what it is that I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Once you watch that video, now you're like, okay, I got some questions. I'm glad you got some questions because now I'm going to put you on the three-way with my upline. That's taking them to third base.
Okay.
Now, when they get on third base, they got some questions that they want to get answered. That's what the expert, your upline, your sponsor is going to do, is they're going to provide them with all of the answers to their questions. And then we know we got to make it home.
Yes,
Making it home is putting them in the business.
There you go.
So it's 1, 2, 3. back to home base.
Okay.
You know, and so that's what I teach them.
I like that. I like that. Keep it simple. 4 steps. You first base, second base, third base, fourth base, like how we used to do with the girls. You know. No, that's great, man. And I think that's fantastic because, you know, it's networking. I mean, it's you know, MLM, direct sales, whatever. It's network. You know, and I just love seeing the success that we have around the company because we break it down real simple. We don't try to make it what it's not. We don't. You know, we had people from who got, you know, $1,000 checks up into people who got tens of $1,000 checks. I mean, and I love that because it's everything in the range in between, and a person has to just to find out where they're at. But you know, the great thing about the business is that, you know, even if you're not really heavy on commissions, you still win with the other two strategies.
And you know, I think that's the biggest thing is when I talk to people, I say, listen. You will get to the point where you'll build a business and you'll start bringing people in. You can't help but bring people in this business. But that's not my primary focus when they come into the business. Mm-hmm. My primary focus is to get money into their pockets. And I can get money in their pockets without them having to recruit somebody. It's just a shift of mindset and it's a shift of strategy. Mm-hmm. Once you teach them strategy and they can put an extra $200, $300, $400 a month in their paycheck and they haven't even recruited the first person, now they're going to go tell somebody. You can't keep that a secret.
Yeah.
See, you can't keep that a secret. And by the fact that you're now having some success, you're making an extra $200 to $400 without doing anything that you would normally do in a traditional network marketing environment. Now you're ready to go out and tell somebody about this experience that you've had that's so different.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. I mean, I tell you what, man. I mean, there you have it. It's straight from the man himself, Mr. June Collier. And I'm glad I got him to sit him down for a few minutes. But you said